December, and so the sun is very low in the sky, as you can see if I just turn around here, because we are nearly 11 o'clock, so it is it's not very early in the morning, but you can see the sun is just right there. Anyway, I cleaned the windscreen, the interior of the windscreen yesterday, which I think that's the first time I've actually done that, but I was out with the kids the other day, and a couple of us went into a shop, and two were left in the car, and those that were left in the car decided that they would take the opportunity to put fingerprints everywhere, which is not great in winter, as I'm sure you know. So the reason for creating a little video today is that I wanted to try and show you some of this reflection of the dashboard on the screen. Now, I don't know if you can see it here. You can see the kind of black marks of the grille in the front here. You can kind of see that. So the whole of the windscreen has got a kind of lighter shade all over it. Now, generally, that's not too much of an issue, and you can drive fine with it like that. However, there are situations. Now, in the winter, because the sun's low, it's not just so prominent, but when the sun is higher in the sky, and when you are driving into a kind of darker area, so what's kind of around you is dark, is in shade, in shadow, it can be just a little bit alarming, because the amount of light reflecting off the light coloured dashboard cover tends to overwhelm what you're trying to see outside the windscreen. It's basically a contrast issue if you're into imagery and photography, as I am, and what you've got is a problem, a kind of disconnect, and there's not enough. The black levels basically are much are not as deep as they should be, because you've got this kind of general light over kind of over layer over the image. Now, so I have had a couple of situations where this has caught me out on country roads where it's been a bright day, and I've suddenly gone into shade, into a dark shade. Now, so it's not such a big issue on like on a motorway or something, but on a country road where you don't have any kind of room for manoeuvre, it can be quite alarming to suddenly find your view basically obstructed by the reflection of the dashboard in the screen. I'm gonna head up here and see if I can find a kind of spot to show you this in a bit more clarity. Goodness me, I think maybe after like 2 or 3 months this road is open again. This road has been closed forever while they've been doing there was a gas leak and they were doing some work here, and finally looks like it's open again. So I'll maybe go down into the car park here of our local park, and see if there's a spot where I'll park up. There's some trees right in front of us. That might give quite a, maybe gives quite a good illustration of what I'm talking about. So anyway, I cleaned the screen in front so that there was no kind of sheen on it. Yes, I mean, I can see that really kind of clearly. So you've got this here is a reflection of the vents on the top of the dashboard. So all of this kind of just light sheen over the image is all due to the reflection on the dashboard, of light on the dashboard. So we are not in direct sunlight here at all. It's just the light coming down. I've got the aircon is on. So there's no condensation on the interior of the windscreen or anything like that. So part of the reason for this is if you kind of look at the way the car is built, it's not like an older generation of car where the windscreen was much closer here and much more vertical. As with a lot of modern cars, it starts much further ahead in the car and is much more steeply raked. Better for aerodynamics, of course. But what it means is that the back of the back of the windscreen here is about in line with the steering wheel, and all of the dashboard, and it's quite a large dashboard, is directly under the windscreen, and thus reflects into the steeply raked windscreen, which, if you think about your line of sight for your vision, you are looking, and the screen seems to be almost at a perfect angle just to reflect directly what's in the dashboard. So if I was really prepared for this, there are other folks who've got videos, I think, on YouTube. If you put a black cloth over, it completely removes this. And so some people have actually designed up their own kind of a cloth felt or something like that, which they have stuck to this to resolve this issue. However, Renault have been listening, and so they have in the new models switched out this dashboard for a darker one. So this is the Intense model, and it is generally a darker ambiance in here. This is all kind of black, and this is black. In one of the other models, the Zen model, this is white. However, this bit was the same in either model, but now they're switching that out, so it is going to be a darker color in the new cars that are coming out. Now that is a good thing. However, even better, Renault, in their generosity towards owners who've been complaining about this, raising it as a concern, have agreed to switch out the dashboard cover for any owner that says that it has been an issue for them. So the car is going to go in a couple of days' time for its first annual service, and to get the top of the dashboard changed. So it'll be interesting to see what difference that makes. So once it is done, I will come back down here to this same spot and see what kind of difference it has made. I'm going to try, I'll go up to the other car. We have a Picasso, and it is similar in the sense that, in fact, the windscreen is even bigger. It extends even further back above your head. So it would, you think, be likely to cause even more of an issue here. But the difference is, and it has a light ambiance in the car, but the difference is the part of the dashboard that is directly under the windscreen is black. Now the rest of the dashboard is a light color, but the part that reflects, or at least that reflects in your line of sight, is black. So they had given that a little bit more thought in how you use the car. So I'll go back and have a look so you can just see the difference there. So that's great. I hope we'll see how that goes. And a few concerns just when they put it all back together, that there will not be any squeaks, creaks, groans, and all that kind of thing. But here's hoping that won't be an issue. What they will also do is, you see there are some other gubbins that go with it. There is the speaker grill. There's a wee cover that kind of is right down here. They'll need to replace those, and that all that stuff is on order, should be. So that's also going to be dark color and fit. Now the rest of this stuff is dark anyway, so that shouldn't be an issue. Okay. I'm in the other car. Not been in this car before for one of these videos, I don't think. Let me just put the brake on. So you can see here what is basically, in fact, I'll put the visors back here, an even more extreme windscreen, in that there's the dashboard and it goes way up above it. Of course, I've got a nice massive roof box on the top, which gives a little bit of shade. However, I did clean this windscreen just a few weeks ago as well, so it doesn't have anything on it. But you can see here, so this car has got it's light cloth upholstery and all of that, and a light kind of color dashboard here. However, the bits that reflects in the windscreen is all dark, and it is a kind of matte finish. There's something slightly odd about the finish in the Renault. It's got this kind of almost like a weave in it, kind of pattern on it, and it just seems to reflect a bit. In fact, it's a bit more like the kind of pattern that's on here that reflects. Well, not even so really, but anyway. But you can see the difference, and so for your line of sight, although you've got this kind of light coloured band going across, all the part that's reflecting in the windscreen is black. So I've never noticed any issue with reflections in the windscreen on this car with this dashboard here. And now what is, however, there are you've got these cubby holes on either side here, which is lovely. Oh no, look, you see there's a light. I think the bulb's gone in this one over here. And that's maybe why I haven't noticed it so much. Because what you do get at night time, there's just a little bit of light bleed that comes from the lights that are inside these containers, like you can see the one back there, and you do get a little bit of reflection of that just coming from the kind of the gap on the windscreen, which, well, you get used to it, of course. It's not a big issue at all, but you do notice that, which I haven't recently, and that will be because the bulb's gone. So there you go. I have no idea how you change the bulb in one of these. It must be all the way, oh yeah, I can feel something back there, so it'll be all the way back there. Anyways, so there you go. Citroen doing it right as far as the design of the dashboard and the huge windscreen, steeply raked windscreen and all that, so you're not getting the same issues that we have in the Renault. Well, it's Monday morning, and heading down to Brecon to Mackie Motors, which is the Renault dealership from which I bought this Zoe, and it's heading back for its first service. I've done 7,853 miles, it says at the moment. I'm on the 7.5, well, I initially started on the 7,500 miles per year battery lease model. I tried to extend that a bit just to get a bit more miles out of it, but I'm still paying the same amount. So even despite my attempts to do that with Renault Finance, I don't think that has worked. However, that's not far off 7,500 miles. I'm just a little bit over. Not quite up to a year. I'm nearly at a year, but not quite. So I will be a bit more over than that. But not too bad anyway. I suspect in the years to come I will be using the car more though, just as I get more and more used to it, and hopefully as the charging network gets better. See the glare from the, again, it's not a very bright day, it's just maybe this, sun, not sure if the sun is entirely up yet, but you can see against the kind of darker background of the road and the various the verge here, the kind of sheen, the glare over the windscreen just gives you that, you don't get the darks as dark as they should be, so your contrast is reduced. Well, I've jumped in the Dacia Logan, which is the rental. Well, not the rental, the courtesy car. No fuel! Got to get all the way to Aberdeen. Anyway, that could be a little bit more impressive. However, I need to find a petrol station down here somewhere. Oh, I'll take that back. Hang on a minute. There is fuel in it. It just doesn't show you when you first get in the car. How do I turn the volume down? There we go, that's the one. Right. Oh well, hopefully the car will be ready to pick up later this evening. That is the plan. Back up to Aberdeen. Sorry for the noise. This is the bummer of being back in a petrol car. Iced up window. It's 1 degree out there, and of course I can't preheat it or anything like that. And because it's a courtesy car, there's no scraper in the car or anything like that. So I may jump to the other car and try and see if there's a scraper in the back of the other car. That being said, this little Dacia thing is not a bad car at all. It is, it doesn't feel crazily cheaply built. I mean, it looks a bit 1990s-ish, I guess, in the layout. Yeah, not super nice kind of plastics, but it feels like a leather trimmed steering wheel. You can look at and see all various parts from the Renault. I'm sure these are from a Megane. The dials, various switches that look all very familiar, and all of that. However, it's not a bad little car. And mamma mia, it is cheap. I mean, they really are cheap. It's also got an eco button down here. which I turned on just for interest, and it comes up with eco on there. No idea what it's doing. I haven't quite worked out if it's changed the throttle mapping. I assume that's what it's done. It's changed the mapping of the throttle. One thing that is very irritating. Now, when you look at this stereo here, wouldn't you think this would be the volume control? No, the volume is buttons over here, and this changes the channel, the frequency on the radio. So, you know, as soon as I jumped in the car, I went to change the frequency and change the volume, and of course it completely messes around with that. Yeah, very strange design. It doesn't make much sense to me. That should be the volume. They are, and press it for on and off and all that kind of thing. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. So I've had word that the Zoe is ready to. Oh, there we go. Nice and clean now. The Zoe is ready to go and pick up. So I'm going to quickly go and get it before I've got another meeting this afternoon. And here you can see on this car, all black. You can, depending on, just about see the reflection of the vent in the window here, but it's not nearly as noticeable as it was in the Zoe. So we'll see what like when we get down the road. And of course, this is a much more traditional kind of shaped car with not a deep dashboard, more upright windscreen, and all the rest. All right. I'm driving like straight into the sun here, and just to kind of show that you do get glare, whatever, but the difference here, I'm not sure if I can get it, the sun is, as I'm going around the corners, keeps changing. The difference is, on this dashboard anyway, you are getting quite a lot of glare right in front of you, where there's a kind of direct reflection of the sun on the dashboard, and then it appears on the screens as a kind of white area, a light area. What you're not getting though is it's only kind of that. Now I wonder if you can see it here as the sun's coming back round. I'm not sure if the camera's picking this up as much as I can see it when I'm driving. What you're not getting is, now in this similar kind of situation, I think in the Zoe as it was, the whole screen would be kind of whited out. There'd be so much glare from the dashboard. You maybe just saw it there, that the glare from the dashboard moved across as the sun moved from one side to the other, or rather as we moved, and the sun stayed in the same place, but you know what I mean. Yeah, so I mean, you still do get it even on a black dashboarded car, but it isn't the same. It's not that same complete whiteout that you get, unfortunately, on the Renault in these kind of occasions. Well, I have jumped in the car for the first time, and yes, it is a very black dashboard that they have added in here. So we will see. You can see the black color here. So it was this kind of color there, but it is basically the same. It's a very different texture, because this is kind of soft texture. This is the same kind of rippled texture. Yeah, so we'll see when we head up the road what kind of difference this makes. Right, I need to get to somebody's house for a visit, so I'm going to have to plug in now. I think they've done some R-Link updates as well, so he is hoping that doesn't cause me any big issues. Right, so I'm going to need to plug in where I'm going. Okay, enough from me for now. I'm on my way back up from Brecon, and thankfully some good things here, which I was just a little bit concerned about. I'd read, I think it was actually on a French forum, French ZOE forum, a few folks that have had the dashboard changed, and that there were concerns about the being the fans, the air conditioning system, the fans being much more noisy afterwards. Obviously something in putting everything back together that was causing some kind of problems or blockage or something like that. No such concerns here at all. Everything is just the same. So I had the heater on to warm the car up initially, going at quite a clip, and just the same fan sound, air rushing sound coming from the vents. Nothing unusual there at all. And I've driven a few miles down a kind of country road, so it's an uneven road, and no creaks or groans or any noises from the dashboard. It's just exactly as it was, only the colour is different. I need to give it a wee bit of a wipe. There's a little bit of dust and stuff on it. Now, so I'm not driving directly into the sun. The sun is kind of behind me. However, it is a bright day, so it's quite a light. It's quite light above, and in fact, the sun is shining through the side window here directly onto the dashboard. So the dashboard is kind of lit, but it is much better. So you can still just about see the vents, the darker vents, of course, but you know that's going to be the case no matter what. But big difference in just the general glare coming from the windscreen, off the dashboard onto the windscreen. So yeah, I'm thinking this was a good move, changing this over. I'm glad to have done that. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. I'll try and do a comparison a little bit later in that same spot where I filmed a few days ago before the car went in, just to get a sense of that, the difference there. But at the moment, just from driving along, with the road is dark in front of me here. It's not a light tarmac, and I'm not bothered by the reflection at all, the glare at all, which is good. So yeah, all in all, good call. I got the paperwork through, of course, and the car has had its service at the same time. Everything fine. I think the R-Link has been updated as part of a kind of recall thing. Well, it wasn't a recall because the car wasn't recalled, but an update for the car going for a service. So I need to have a look at the paperwork in a bit more detail when I get back. I need to press on, so I couldn't do that just immediately. And that's all good. Of course, no cost for any of this. It's on this 4-year I can't remember what the name of the plan is, but no cost for any of that, so that's very nice. Car has I think it's been given a little bit of a vacuum, but these are the things you miss when your previous car was going into a main Mercedes dealership at 100 whatever, £20 an hour or whatever you're paying for it. It would always come back completely valeted, which was nice. Yeah, this hasn't been valeted in that respect. It is it has been cleaned, but not that kind of deep clean. However, it'll save me giving it a wee clean for a little while, so that's all good. Right, well, very painless, very straightforward, no problems there. So long may that continue. Yeah, I'm glad to have done this with the dashboard. What you can see more notably, it's the same with the other one. There are kind of there's sort of bands across it. It must be part of the structure underneath this kind of, because it's quite a wide expanse in front of the just in front of the steering wheel. And what you can see on here now, perhaps more, I mean, you could always see it, but it's maybe more clear, is that there are kind of ridges. There are just these gentle bands across it. It must be the structure underneath, I'm thinking. I think that's actually a little bit more noticeable with the black dashboard. I'm sure I'll get used to it, but that's the only, yeah, I mean, I don't think it's anything to do with the installation. It's just the design, because it was there on the original dashboard too. All right, time to slow down, coming into a 50. Driving through kind of shaded bits into the sun, on country roads now, which is exactly the situation where I was having the most concerns about the dashboard. Now I'm not actually going directly kind of with the sun ahead of me, just because of the direction I'm traveling north at the moment. However, even with that, I am noticing a big difference. And it's one of those strange things. What you're noticing is that you're not noticing it, if you know what I mean. I don't have the same distraction that I had with the dashboard glare in the past, and that's very welcome. It means that you're not going to have the same concern. It was in particular situations where it would catch you out, just where the sun was and all that. So that's a great improvement. So I have to say kudos to Renault for listening to the concerns of drivers and being prepared to do something about it, to acknowledge that they'd made a mistake, and do something that makes a difference. What I've noticed just driving up, because I guess my aesthetic concerns were just that it changes the kind of the style language and all the rest of the oh yes, shush up, that it changes the kind of style and all of that of the dash. Now that I'm just going to get used to, and I'm not actually that bothered. It looks fine because it's I mean, the shape is all just the same. There's not so much noticeable the kind of style of the this kind of wind vane, the curved thing. It's supposed to be in the shape of a turbine blade for a wind turbine. Is not just as noticeable as it was when you had the sort of two-tone shades. You have a kind of different pattern, but it's not as noticeable. Now, what I do notice though is, and this is actually quite nice, is that the texture of the dashboard is the same as the steering wheel. So actually, there is a better crossover now in this Intense model between the steering wheel and the top of the dash, where it looks like it's the same material, same pattern, same design, and that's actually quite nice. Because the steering wheel previously did look a little bit sort of almost out of place, with quite a lot of light colours around. So that's good. Don't mind that at all. Might even be an improvement. joins the new darker part there. Yeah, you can see the grills for the tweeter. There's a plug kind of bit down there. No idea what that's for, but the other side, and yeah, the trim is all just. This has all just been kept just the same. Yeah, they've done a fine job, Mackie Motors. So my concerns have not been warranted. There, that's good news. So I've got a few minutes. I'm just a bit early for meeting family. So yes, you can see there, all green. Nothing to be concerned about, and yeah, I don't think there's a whole bunch of stuff which will happen at the B service, which, because this is just this is I was only 7,800 miles, so I think there's more that will happen at the next year's service, but a clean bill of health on the form, which is always good. What's it say on the other side here? Yeah, nothing much there. Just the various checks: wiper blades, horn, blah 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 blah, battery, power steering, etc. No problems with any of that stuff. Good. All very straightforward, which I like. I like that. I have been actually driving a little bit slightly more efficiently on my way back. 3.4 miles per kilowatt hour. I was down to 2 point something, 2.8 or something. I can't remember what it was. The last wee while driving around with a heater on, full, no eco mode. The eco mode does mean the heater doesn't work as powerfully because it's not drawing as much energy. I found if you put the heater on non-eco mode, get the car up to temperature, and then put it on eco mode, you can go quite a long ways because there's a little bit of heat comes through that just keeps things okay. And anyway, I have been using a lot more juice just because it's been very cold. Temperatures down to freezing and below, and short journeys where you're just wanting the car to warm up quick, so you're using a heater quite hard, and quite often using the remote to pre-warm the car before leaving. So we haven't even got any miles and you've already de-iced the car from a distance, but of course it's using energy to do that. Yeah, so nice to be on a bit of a longer run and actually get my average up to something semi-reasonable. Still not brilliant, but there we are. So really, I'm coming up for a year, not quite at a year of driving the Renault ZOE. So it must be about a year since the car was in at the dealership, because it arrived early and then I kind of left it there for a while. And now, but it is now, so January it'll be a year, and it's been pretty effortless, really. A learning curve, learning how the car works best, and a few gremlins along the way with charging and with the public charging network, but in general the car itself has behaved impeccably. No great concerns, and long may that continue, because I plan to be driving this wee ZOE for a good few years yet. So there we are. There is a new ZOE coming out. Well, same car, but a new engine. It's got a new motor, designed and built in-house in France. and much smaller, much lighter, more efficient. Same power output as this car, but it does so in a more efficient way. So there should be a greater range. They estimate about 8% greater range. That's all good. What is not so good is that part of the means to getting that greater efficiency is that they've taken out the capability of the car charging at 43 kilowatts, which is a great boon when you're on longer journeys. It'll still charge 22 kilowatts, and I can partly see some of the argument, but I'm concerned as well, as a driver of a car with 43 kilowatt charging, that that there may not be as many 43 kilowatt chargers around, because there are relatively few cars that can use it. It's relatively cheap to keep it in there, I guess, in that it is kind of the, a 3-phase kind of maximum 63 amp supply provides you the 43 kilowatts. However, we'll see. So I'm not the part of the reason for it is that this car does not charge efficiently at low current rates. So if you are using just a 3-pin plug, a 13 amp supply, it's slow and not very efficient. What I mean by not very efficient is that there's actually more current being drawn, proportionately more than goes into the battery than if you were charging at 7 kilowatts or 11 or 22 or 43. So if you rely on that a lot, you're actually using more energy than you may have expected for the energy going into the battery. Of course, I never use that. I'm always using 7 kilowatts, and most of the folks I know that are Zoe drivers are charging at 7 kilowatts because their home chargers are 7 kilowatts, so it's a moot point. However, that seems to be part of the reasoning. So this engine is designed to work at 43 kilowatts, but the kind of trade-off is that it was not efficient at the much lower rates. For me, my usage, and it seems for quite a few other drivers, that is a trade-off worth making, because most of the time you're charging at a higher rate, that's 7 kilowatts or above, not at the much reduced rates. So that's a bit of a shame. Doesn't really impact me because I'm still going to be, now if they were installing a CCS connector so you can have direct current into the battery at higher rates, then that it wouldn't be an issue, because the CCS connectors are rolling out in more and more places. But I'm not sure that's what they're planning to do. We'll have to wait and see. If that is the case, this is not a concern, really, apart from for us drivers who use the 43 kilowatts. It may be a concern in the future if they start phasing those out. However, we will see. Right, time for me to find this house. Head up Avar the Beautiful Lane in Aberdeenshire. I am just back to Duthie Park, so I'm not in exactly the same place I was before. I'm just kind of the other end of this bush here, and I think it's a little bit later. However, despite that, I think you'll be able to easily tell that it's very hard to see the same kind of reflection that was relatively easy to see before. I can just about see it myself. You can kind of see where the vents are here. So there's a slight difference, but it's not that. It's really, you've got to kind of be looking for it, whereas it was blindingly obvious in the earlier. So all in all, I do need to give this a bit of a clean. It's a little bit dusty, and that, I tell you what, that is going to be something that, that the other color, this sort of light color, was fantastic for not showing the dust. Because I like to keep my car tidy, right, not crap all over the floor, but I'm not brilliant at keeping it clean, like, you know, polished and all of that. So I really appreciate a colour that where the you know, kind of dust can settle and you don't really notice it. Now I can already, and this has only been in the car for a day, I can already see a kind of layer of dust forming on it, because it's such a, it's kind of featureless, large expanse. So you do notice that. So anyway, I need to give it a wee wipe. You can see down here a bit of dust and stuff there. So I'll need to give it a bit of a clean. But yeah, you can see, can you see there the different kind of shades between the matte, this kind of rubberized here, and then but it is basically black, which is good. I like that. As I said earlier, because it matches the steering wheel perfectly. Now, same kind of texture, and there it is, focusing. Same kind of texture on the steering wheel and on the top of the dashboard, so that works quite nicely. Yeah, all in all, I'm pleased, very pleased with that. What does it look like from the outside when you're looking in? Let's find out.